Did we not bring our audio with us from the other location?
Oh, I know we left it. Okay, let's do this. Let's wave and
Yeah.
say hello.
Hello.
Um, okay, we're good now. Okay, there we go. We are good now. Hi, everybody. What's up? We made a bunch of funny jokes. So imagine these themes on us arriving on planes. We had masks and we were like tired. And I was like, oh, my arms are tired. Nick, did you make any good jokes?
I was just like, whoo, thanks for lending me that extra mask. They wouldn't let me on the plane.
Got it. So imagine the intro that you saw, but with that audio
Yeah.
and how funny that was. So just laugh quietly to yourself.
Someone splice it together on one of those programs.
Yes. Somebody do the ADR of us talking on the beginning. Hello, hello, hello. Let us know where you're watching from in the world. There are a bunch of people here that were not here last time, so it's great to see
Yeah.
you. And I'm actually going to flip over and show you guys a little bit about Adobe Office Hours. Give me just a second. Nick, do you want to tell people about what Adobe Office Hours is, since we have so many people here that
Yes.
weren't here before?
Welcome. Oh, I see some great names there. What's up, Tanner? We are a weekly show on Adobe Live, and what we did was we kind of created a show that could help supplement whatever you guys are doing as far as virtual school, virtual work, not getting to hang around creatives much anymore. This is your chance to come in once a week, chill with us. We've got a whole syllabus of work that we do. Each day is a great topic, and then we hit you up with some homework.
Yep. And so
Awesome.
we have here on the screen, again, if you're doubting that this is live, y'all just saw how live this was. I'm pulling up slides as we go. And with those slides, we are, oh man, we are showing you here, you can get involved at behance.net/live. And we are live. Nick, when's the next time that we're live?
Gosh, is it tomorrow? Maybe in about
That's
23 and a half hours.
yes, we are live again
Look
and
at all the
again and
people.
again
This
this
is
week.
great. What's up, Steve from New
Forever. So many
Zealand?
people in chat.
Oh
Oh my
my
goodness.
God, this
So
is
you can
great.
join us behance.net/live tomorrow at 1 p.m. And if you'd like to get involved with the show, you can join our Discord here at bit.ly/fall semester-al.
Amazing.
And do you guys review actual portfolio websites or just Behance? I believe that we're jumping all over the place today.
Yeah.
And I did make the promise today that would show you how to convert your profile into an Adobe portfolio. So that's going to be a really, really fun thing that we flip over to today. But let's
Yeah.
go ahead and hop over. If you missed from last session, we literally were just saying comparison is compromise. So today, when we get in, there's an extra 700 people that weren't here last time in our stream right before this. So Nick, let's talk about these points again real quick,
Yeah.
because I
Let's
want to make
do it.
sure that we address this. Yesterday in chat, I saw a lot of people saying we're doing something wrong. My portfolio is all wrong. I've been doing this wrong the whole time. But what's the problem with that, Nick?
You're not doing it wrong. You're just doing it differently. If
That's
you
right.
could speak to this, like, just put a hands up in chat, because I think this is the biggest takeaway, I think, after an event like Max, don't you think?
Absolutely. And we are
Yeah.
closing. This is the last, I believe, the last session of like Max stuff, especially here on Adobe Live. So one, great job, Adobe Live team.
Yes.
Two, this here, wrong versus different, is the big takeaway, right? I've worked so many times and seen so many things that as I'm streaming or someone is looking at something, they're saying, oh, you're doing that wrong. But I'm not doing it wrong. I'm doing it different. And as creatives, our value is in our perspective. And so
Yeah.
new perspectives yield new results. If you're trying something differently, if you're using a tool the wrong way as you think, you're using the tool in a different way, and you may discover something that no one has done before. And that's because your perspective was different. So hold on to that, use your perspective, and be different. The
Yeah.
next thing that we want to see is in chat yesterday, we saw a lot of people saying, oh man, this portfolio is so great. What we're seeing here is so amazing. Nick, what's the problem with that?
Man, it's natural. It's like you're seeing somebody else doing something, and a lot of times 90% of who's out there is just focusing on that progress, that success, and all that other stuff. I love it when I see someone reach out and say, man, I just lost two things or whatever, and it's not going too well. Chime into that person, give them the confidence, give them that boost, because everyone's experiencing it.
Absolutely. And remember this, your portfolio is not their portfolio. I was looking last night at Kelly Anderson giving her talk, and I was like, this work is so good that I'll never have this work. But that's fine, because I have my work and my work is mine. So don't focus on their portfolio. Focus on your continued process, not the final product. And so what that means, keep working. We are here every single week to give you advice, to help you level up, and to help you really push toward what's next. So that's what we want from you. And Nick, let's give a little preview of what we're talking about tomorrow and what's coming up a little bit in the future. So we have our syllabus here. And coming up tomorrow, we are in the middle of a semester-long class. That's what this show is. Nick, what's coming up soon?
Tomorrow, we're talking the terrors of time you are wasting. And this is a big topic. I'm seeing it in a lot of different podcasts and blogs right now. It's this idea how to make yourself more efficient, save time, little shortcuts you can do. We're going to do our best to kind of help you and maybe even share with us some of the stuff you guys do. That's why we're here.
Exactly. So there's a bunch of questions that have come in this week. And again, if you ever have questions, literally drop them into the chat, and we will try to answer them today or tomorrow. I feel like we're going to have some time today to literally just sit and answer your questions that you have. And what you want to do is, if you have missed something and you want to join our fall semester, look at this, screenshot it. You also can go to bit.ly/Adobe Office Hours, and you can see the syllabus, as well as all of our presentations from the past, and look at the ones that you think are interesting. Go find them on YouTube, and you can catch up with the class.
It's never too late, and you won't be wasting time. Look at that.
Wow. Nick with the clutch tie-in. Love that.
And I'm writing down a lot of these new names because I want to see them tomorrow.
Yes, there's 1,100 of you in here. So if we don't see you tomorrow, I'm not going to be disappointed. But I'll just I expected more from you. I'm here to be your condescending design father.
We're not comparing.
Not at all. Is there a way to rewatch the sessions? Yes, I believe that they exist. I believe on the YouTube Creative Cloud that you can check out. So Nick, let's go ahead and hop into portfolio reviews. We've got just under an hour for these, and we're going to hop into a bunch of different portfolios today. Nick, what's our disclaimer that we want to give everyone in chat as we hop into doing some portfolio critiques?
Everyone learns from these comments. We love this because there's even times where both Andrew and I don't even agree. So the idea here is to listen, take notes. If you see something that maybe reflects something you're doing, listen up, hear what we're saying. It's great to just take this information and everyone can use it throughout your portfolio.
Yes. And thanks so much for sharing your work, everyone. We love seeing your work. We love seeing it come in. We love especially seeing the journeys that you're on, seeing the progress. A lot of you have been tagging us on Instagram or even here on Behance with the lessons you've learned. Some of you are making graphics. Some of you guys are making things that are recaps. It is so awesome.
Just warms my heart.
That. It makes us very happy. And so keep sharing those. All right, Nick, let's go ahead and hop in and talk about this portfolio here. We're looking at Nishi Banka first. And again, all the advice that we give is hopefully applicable to everyone. You can use it in your portfolios, but we're going to be taking a look at specific ones today. So Nick, do we want to start on one of these projects? Do we want to start just overall what's happening on this page?
I always like looking at the overall. I think Behance gives you this opportunity to create a first impression. It's our welcome mat, right? This is what we see. I don't know if it's the way the page is stretched, but we're not seeing the writing in the header correctly. It's those little things to make sure that the first impression is perfect. I'd say the tiles maybe have a little more uniformity in how you're presenting your tiles, because it looks like a lot of different things. I think there's a way to do it with a uniform way, but let's dive into one and see what we got.
Yeah, so let's take a look at the Buddy Blues here. And this is something that we see a lot is people will put the big logo, the big shock at the beginning. The very first image is the big reveal. And to me, I almost want to go on a journey with you. And so putting this first image here at the top, sometimes I want it to be a little bit further down to see that process.
Yes.
Oh, so, fantastic.
Cool.
I love that you're showing little sketches here. And I believe that this is a part of the project. Yep. So first step, when I started, there was a number of aspects that I wanted to focus on. There were a lot of things about depression that is unknown to a lot of people. To begin with, I jotted down all the aspects that I could possibly look at. As I wrote down the aspects, I also tried to see what could be the best possible form.
Nice.
Nick, do you do this with any of your sketches? Just go crazy on a piece of paper?
Yeah, I do. And I've got sketchbooks of this, and I'm not even that good. Like it's me, for me, it's a brain dump. For me, it's that way of getting the idea out and doing this. And what I typically do is a lot of that, those lines to it, and say what it's going to be, what it's going to mean, what is its relationship to the next thing or whatever. Love doing stuff like this. I get a lot of good results showing this kind of stuff too in the case study.
Absolutely. Yeah. And whenever I do this kind of work, I always want to do a brain dump on the biggest possible surface.
Yeah.
And so like if I'm in an office or a co-working space that has a wall that's a whiteboard wall, I will literally write like gigantic and take up the whole thing. Cause to me, something about the physicality of being able to move and flow with ideas is just magic.
Love that.
I love that you are creating these little pop-outs, having a lot of copy to pull us along in the journey. Nick, do you think it's too much copy here?
I'd say slightly bit too much. And again, too, I would just flush left it. I don't think justification on the paragraph works. They're small little squares. I see them as like graphic elements and not so much as welcoming type when I see it that way. But let's give it up. I think there's some really great walking us through. We're seeing the process. Again, when you get to something like this, maybe a great way to show it is an animated GIF of showing all the different variations rather than making this huge grid that make 50% of the case study,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And people are asking, where are the archives of the different versions and episodes of Adobe Office Hours? If you scroll down at the bottom of this page, there is an archive with, I believe, a bunch of episodes. If you want to catch up on those, you can just hang out down there and pull up some ones to watch later. So we talked about flexing on scale. Something like this, I think, isn't necessarily the flex on scale. It's a lot of iterations. Yes. And so you just want to show, kind of cycle through them and see a couple of the versions. And yes, a time lapse would be great for this kind of thing. Great idea.
Aaron.
But what the case study is doing very, very right is taking us on a journey and showing us step by step. Now we're in the type, and now we're moving into some more screens. And then we move into a little example of how it works, continuing into partner screens. So there is a lot of case study here. To me, it's almost too much that it's getting a little repetitive.
Yes.
But I do think that this of having the depth is really good. It feels like there might be too much good happening.
Yeah. And I think someone brought up a good point too. The text looks like it's part of the graphic in most of those things where you could lose some content and SEO, and you can lose some clarity. So if you're building them in Behance and you're pushing them to portfolio, it gives you plenty of ways to type all of your text in there and make it look really, really good.
Absolutely. And it looks like this is a little bit different take on that branding. And so I love that you've shown the process. You have some examples, but again, it feels like it's too much. So to me, this is the equivalent of like proposing to someone and being like, will you marry me? And they're like, yes. And you're like, but I just want to spend the rest of my life together. And you're like, yes. And they're like, I can't wait for the memories that we're going to make. You're like, yes.
But I want to give you this card. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So it feels like it's really good case study, but it feels like too much. So I just pare it down, really take us on that journey and show us what you want to, but really edit and focus it very quickly. And can you edit? Can you upload GIFs to artwork of explaining the animation process? Yes. Yes. I'm actually more interested in that stuff with animation of like, where are your wireframes and how's that working than usually the final product. I'm like, oh, it looks cool, but I want to see what the process was to get you there.
Oh yeah. Jacqueline was even asking, can you make a case study of a personal project? Absolutely. In fact, that's the only thing you should be doing with it. Turn it into a complete case study. I think that would look fantastic. We don't see that many of them, and I'd love to see more. So definitely take advantage.
Yes. And a great question from Kevin. When is the best time during the year to work on your portfolio? April 23rd, because it's not too hot, it's not too cold, and all you need is a light jacket.
Was that specific enough?
That's very specific. Yes. There's no best time, like literally whenever you can. Here's the deal. My portfolio, not great right now. I literally every week I'm giving advice on portfolios, and I know I need to work on mine. Max was coming up, and I was like, okay, I'm going to set aside time and I have to get it done before Max because all these people are going to be looking at it. and I didn't get to it. That's just what happens. It's fine. Don't put pressure on yourself unless you're going for a job or you need it done. There's no need to really push and push and push. Just be content with what you have. If it's working, go for it, and then work on it when you have time or when you feel like it's necessary. And yes, I knew I knew some of you were going to pick up on that reference and lose your minds. Yes, that was a miscongeniality reference.
Oh, gotcha.
For April 23rd. Sorry.
And your portfolio never ends, guys. We've learned that, like with every time we've talked about it, it never ends. So always keep it ever changing and ever improving. Really,
absolutely. So Nick, I'm going to lean on you for something real quick. With 15 minutes left, can you please remind me, and you know what, chat, you do this as well. Chat, drop a banana emoji when we get to 210, because I promised I would show you how to convert your Behance into an Adobe portfolio. So at 210, everyone drop banana emojis and I will remember and move on from whatever we're doing. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to Justin Roy. Justin, someone that we see in our chat a lot, and so I'd love to give him some feedback. And hello, Robert. And a question from Cassandra: how many pieces should be in your portfolio, Nick?
There's no answer. If you have 3 amazing ones, the number is 3. If you have 2 others that you're unsure of, they're not in, or improve them. So it's the number of how many good ones you have.
Yep. On my editorial page, I have literally, I think, 65 projects that are just images, no click-throughs, because I think, cool, I'm proud of all this work, so I'm just going to show you all of it.
Yeah, that's it.
Why not? Like, if I'm proud of it, I'm going to be proud of it. All right. So looking at Justin Roy's, we love Justin. I'm not super familiar with his work, so let's take a look. Let's look at the Toro Taco first, and let's start to critique this from 1, the work, which it looks like is great, and 2, make sure that we look at how this case study is out. So Nick, what's your first impression?
Ooh, I'm hungry. First impression. Great image. I love that it's just the logo over a lifestyle shot of what's to come, what to expect. That tells me a lot. Then we get right into the introduction of it, of who it is and what it is. Again, just certain things I would say, make sure maybe that could look better, maybe centered or something, having those, like that last sentence to me, just kind of lingering. Just work on that line breaks there. Love this part. This is where I love it, is when you give me words that are going to tell me what to start expecting. This amplify, fearless, right? All this stuff is telling me what this better kind of, look like as we go through there. If that was your goal, I want to see that coming through. So let's see what he's got.
Yes. And here's something as well that we've talked about that I think people don't remember to do in their case studies. Use images that don't matter. Like, I know it feels like the most random thing to do, but putting images in here that don't matter, like this taco, to me, I'm getting the colors, I'm getting the spices, I'm getting the experience of what he's about to show me.
Oh, the lime juice, everything.
Exactly. For me, just having this logo over the background of the tacos instead of being on a color is inviting me into that story. It's taking me and saying, okay, where are we going? Oh, this is going to be delicious. Okay, the colors are amplify, fearless, gregarious, gusto, where I could look at this and be like, okay, cool. So we're doing branding. Here's the logo, and they have a blue. Here's some RGB colors. Here's a black and orange and a red. Great. And then keep going. I'm already in. I'm on that journey about where we're going. Yeah. So next up, again, you have great concept sketches. Absolutely love that. And Nick, do you have any thoughts on showing like this level of sketch step by step?
Yeah, that's fine. I think what he's showing is the first round that's done with pencil. It's kind of the brain dump. Then that second one, it gets into a little bit more refinement with some actual maybe fonts and some type. And then you can go right into the primary logo. I would say on that primary one, again, show it off in its full glory. One nice image with it either reversed out or something, then hold off on showing your secondaries and alternatives or black and white versions later. I want to see this thing. I think that could even work a little tilted. Like this logo to me looks like you can almost see it like a little bit on a tilt.
Yes, right? I want to see it as a stamp. Like I want to see it with the border around it as well, which maybe we'll get there. We'll see. But what I would also love to see in this, and this is something that I started doing in some of my case studies as well, is I would show the pieces of the process that ended up being what the final product was, right? So to me, that's just showing my thought process. So here I'd be like a little red circle that's like, hey, I took this texture over here. I liked the lockup of, these O's and the way that the T went, and I loved the offset of this. And then that ended up with a primary logo, showing me how you got from your process to the final product, and connecting those dots is super powerful. And I don't see a lot of people do that.
Yes.
And incorporating that, to me, just shows that you can think like a creative and like a designer.
Yeah. A few people are asking too about being in-house designers and worrying about showing too much from one particular brand in there. And I think that could be a larger case study of showing how you have been specific with one brand and cohesive through everything. That's great. But maybe splitting it up into multiple case studies could be a little too much.
Yeah, I think if it makes sense to put it into case studies. So I worked in-house somewhere for 8 years, but I would break up case studies with campaigns, with like special events, things like that, that if there's something that it makes sense to break it into its own case study, 100% do that. But if it's like, oh, I'm just doing assets for this in-house again and again and again and again, it's hard to kind of break that off. So maybe figure out something that it's, if you're doing a campaign, if you have some way to segment into a new case study, you can expand that into a whole bunch of different case studies. Even though it's in-house, you can almost make it look and feel like it's not all for the same client.
Like maybe you have a nice bulk of stuff that was done for trade, and you have another one that was done for point of purchase, and then another one's print and catalog. So it could be that same brand, but now your case studies are more in discipline rather than projects.
Yep.
Again, no rules, guys. No rules. Just
no rules.
Good tips.
I actually love the phrasing that you've used here, applicable mock-ups. And I love that it isn't just like, oh, cool, I slapped the logo on some stuff. It's cool. They're going to use these. They need shirts for their employees. They need a nice little like portrait or a little handout. They've got a food truck that's going to be a part of their brand. So I think this is really great. I would say in terms of what we're looking for a case study, this is a solid like 85-90% of what we're looking for in a case study.
Yeah, I just think you could probably air it out a little bit more and give us a few more lifestyle shots as we get closer to the bottom there, like those taco things again. Justin, try doing maybe the inside of what it would look like. There's so many great assets of finding like blank interior spaces where you can maybe do a wall mural with, some, because you're really good with the type and you're really good with the editorial. Try that out and see. The truck's really cool. I would almost wonder too, is if you showed it the other side of where it maybe has an opening, that would probably just nail it right there.
Yep. So I think that you did a great job at incorporating the lifestyle here, but the problem is I want to see people eating these tacos. So maybe an image here, literally just like hip young millennials chomping down some tacos on Tuesday. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's Toro Taco. That's the vibe. I could put myself in those shoes. I want that. I want a little bit more of that. And a great question from Hollis, should we be more descriptive of the process? Yes. Let me know how you're thinking and how that process works for you.
Yeah. We were just talking about this with resumes the other day. Don't forget, resumes and portfolio pieces are communication pieces first and foremost. So the simple answer is yes, but you've got to do it with the principles and the design of what you know and how you lay out.
Yep. And quick, as we transition portfolios, we're going to try to burn through quite a bit of portfolios, but somebody asked a question, what does video or motion portfolios look like? To me, it's a little bit of the final product, but then a whole lot of it of what are your lighting setups? What are the settings? What's the behind the scenes? How are you framing things up? What does the compositions look like? What's your editing process? How are you working on sound mixing? What are the problems that you faced and how did you solve them? So it's not the reel. I see so many that's like, check out my cool reel. And I'm like, I want to know how you think. I want to know how you see the world. I don't just want to like see the thing that you made. Which this is a great example. And Nick, why are we talking about this one? So this is fine art. This is someone who's an illustrator, right? Usually we're looking at design, UI, UX, and here we're looking at someone who does fine art. Why are we looking at this, Nick? Why have we chosen it today?
Because last time I checked, fine art is in the world of creativity.
That's right.
And guess what? Sarah needs to work.
That's true. And she needs to build good case studies, and especially here on Behance. And what we really wanted to showcase is even though this isn't design, this isn't UI, UX, this isn't something that you traditionally think of for a case study, just like people were talking about motion or video, for fine art, they actually make really great case studies. So There's an artist statement, right? This is
Love it.
saying, here is the journey that we're going on. Here's the problem and the solve. Here's what I'm doing. It's explaining a little bit of things for us. And then we move in and she's showing all these beautiful shots, but not just the final products, also showing here is where I'm studying the different bones that I'm working with, and even some of the leaves. So again, great case studies showing off the process, the ideas, and really explaining and going through all of the steps that you've worked through. So
Yeah.
we just wanted to highlight this real quick so that we could show you a little bit of how case studies can apply to literally everything.
Yeah.
I'd love to see case studies on like, here's how I bake muffins. 100%. Why not? You could do it.
Yeah.
So,
I'd say she could probably help by, we can all learn from each other, right? I think a few of hers, they get too much of thumbnails down when you're getting to the bottom, smaller pieces. So just make sure you are showing, more than anybody, show off that detail, you know?
yes,
That's great.
Absolutely.
Really nice.
So moving right along here, we have, there we go. We have one
go.
here. So this is Jennifer Adana, and this looks like it is a photography portfolio. And I'm just going to open one of these and take a look at the Summer of Love.
Excellent. Let's see what we got.
Jennifer Donna. It looks like this is maybe some, actually here, let's go up to the South Lake Tahoe, just because I love South Lake Tahoe. So looking at South Lake Tahoe, this is obviously photography portfolio. What do we think about the way that this is displayed? How do we think we can maybe help to improve?
I would say, gosh, there's so many great opportunities to turn this into a little more, maybe it's a full-on, like a workable collage, like you're walking through, like you said, where you're going, when you have that wall space, to create some kind of a gallery, some kind of a museum quality here, with maybe some little identification of each one. Why are these grouped together? Obviously location, but now take us on. You could do something cool with like a map and like a dotted line helping us kind of connect the two. Something unique, but tell us again, what was this for? Why did you do it? What was the result? Did this, anything, just something to give us some texture.
Yes. And yes, I did say South Lake Tahoe.
Yeah, I heard that too.
You guys got me. I try to truck through and then chat notices everything. So with photography, I always want to see photography case studies laid out in how I would buy them. And so I'd love to see this on a magazine cover, right? That it's like the hottest spots in South Lake Tahoe. And then we open it up and we have some mock-ups of a magazine spread that has like, the yellow wilderness, the gorgeous trees, and then put some text, even if it's placeholder text. I don't like using placeholder text, but do some magazine layouts with these and show how they'd be used. Because selling prints and photography is one thing, but really your money's going to come from commercial work or selling editorial stuff. And so showing it in the editorial setting is going to help to understand for the client how that is going to translate over to what they would use it for.
Yeah.
So
I want to go to Ania really quick because she had a great question to define it. When you say case study, do you mean every piece of work shown in your portfolio is a case study? I think that's where we are going. I think it's okay to have a logo folio like we see a lot of people doing. That could be a case study of its own, how your logo process evolves, and then show some showcases. But that is what people are asking for. I don't think you can just get away with nice image, turn the page, nice image, turn the page. We have to start building these things with some structure.
Absolutely. And with the next couple of minutes, let's look at one that is the pinnacle of what we've seen in a great case study. This is all the examples of the awesome things. This is by Lydia Wer from Nairobi, Kenya, doing some amazing, absolutely incredible UI, UX work. So let's go into this Weetabix case study. And Nick, right off the bat, what do we have here that's totally drawing us in?
Ooh, just everything. Great photography, the splash of the milk, a little bit of structure. I'm seeing there's obviously a table of contents here. I love this idea. Look at this, project goals. Come on. This is designer goals right here. This is exactly what we should be doing.
Yes, this is case study goals. So what we're seeing here, and again, we're just going to walk you through. I'm going to go top to bottom. And yes, I know I have 30 seconds, but we're going to go top to bottom, and I'm just going to call it the things that work. We have a big splash that's showing off something gorgeous, but it's not bearing the lead, right? We're interested, how did you do this? And then we start to get in here. We're talking about the concept. What's the goal here? What's the motivation for why we're redesigning, right?
Yeah.
Nick, what do you think about the way that she's laid it out and displayed this information?
It's a little bit like, I think the overlays might be, there's no need for them. Those boxes are extending to purposely overlay. I put them behind the cereal. Maybe that's what was supposed to happen there. Putting the product, I think background sometimes might be, it's a little, like I want to see it foreground. I want to see it up front. Then we get into the inspiration. This looks a little good. I think I think there might be a cleaner way to present that you have these 4 things that you're trying to say. It might be too much of a cluttered mood board, I would say. Maybe maybe that was the point. And then to show the solution is a lot more clear and structured and better.
Yep. And I love showing the side by side. Show us where you've taken it. Show us what you have done and how you've improved it, how you reached that goal. Love that you have the wireframes here. Again, you're showing us our process. Then you're talking about the systems. This is not only something I'm slapping a logo or a design on. I'm building a system to help people understand. We move into mockups. Here's the applications of how it could apply to your regular life. And then even putting in some extras. And I love some closing thoughts. This is fantastic. What a great idea to incorporate in a case study. So this is the premium example of what we want to see in a case study. I want you guys to check this out. And one of the mods, if you can drop this link here, I'll unfull screen right here at behance.net/Lydia Were. If you can drop that in there, I want all you guys to go follow, appreciate, and check out that case study, because as we look at case studies on the show, that is the premium example of one of the best that we've ever seen of an actual case study build out. Yeah, it's fantastic. How long does it take to build out an actual case study? It could be a few minutes. It could be a few hours. Depends on the one I'm currently working on. It's been 3 months because it is back burner, right? Yes. It's like, it's your speed, it's your efficiencies. But let's face it, you're not going to get a job or get hired for a job or a project without these. How else do we do it? We got to put our best foot forward as best as possible. Yep. And so I promised, y'all missed it with the banana emojis. And I know they're going to come in, but it's too late now. They'll come in. I do not accept your fruit. I reject it. But here's what we're going to do. We are going to spend some time working on converting my profile over into an Adobe portfolio. It's a super easy process. So Nick, you use Behance for posting case studies, correct? Correct. That's right. So what is your technique when you're posting case studies, when you have them on your site? Do you usually send people to just your Behance? Do you convert it to a portfolio? What is the advantage to converting to a portfolio for you? Oh, it's just the look and feel of it. I think what it does is if you have a domain name and you don't know the proper way to build a website at this point, the one click over to portfolio means you have an instant website all of a sudden. So it's fantastic. Yep. Yeah. Oh gosh. If you guys ever doubted that this show is live, just know at this point, this is the equivalent of like watching a train wreck, but it's like a circus train wreck where like there's confetti and clowns. Because we did say 2:10 in my brain. I'm literally starting to land the plane, but we've got 25 minutes left. So we're going to show you how to do this. And then we might hop into some other portfolios. Yes, the angry bananas are coming. I deserve this. Please throw all of the rotten fruit at me. I will take it. I am off my game today, but we're going to show you real quick how to do conversion of your case studies into an Adobe portfolio. So let's hop in here. This is a project that I worked on. Oh, actually, here we go. Let's talk about this. So we talked about being in-house, right? And how we can space things out in-house. These 4 projects right here are all from the same job, all in-house, but built out into different case studies, right? And so because they were separate campaigns, they had different looks. I'm able to have some of this work to show the imagery, to kind of work through the case study, but then go into something completely different and be like, cool, this was the same client, but I was able to make something entirely different, which now breaks off to become its own case study. So that's just an example of how you can go back and forth. Yeah, great idea. With these case studies, let's take a look at this one and I'll show you how it converts over. So this is some branding work, great process, cool stuff, whatever. So with all these projects, I can click on Edit Adobe Portfolio. And over here, I believe that the button will actually be Make Adobe Portfolio. Gosh, there's so much fruit. Fruit and questions. Let's distract from the fruit so I don't get pummeled. Drop some questions in there. Nick will be watching those questions as I explain this to you. So we're going to go to Edit Adobe Portfolio. And it's going to bring this up here. Hey, Andrew, do you want to edit? And I say, yes, I do. So it will prompt you through creating a portfolio. Since I've already done it, it's only letting me edit it. So I'll show you a little bit of the back end where we go to edit site. So it's going to be very easy to just put that over, click that button. And here it's showing a site, right? It's converted my Behance profile into a website for me. It has all of my case studies here. If I click through, it will push, there we go. It will push into whatever this project was. It will show me how it's going to lay out, all of the copy, the images that come in, and this is how it displays on my website. Now, Nick, you're looking at this, right? We look at this and we're like, Andrew, this doesn't feel like you, right? The cute little type, right? This doesn't feel right? We got
to change things up a little bit.
Yeah. So what has Adobe created for us that we can personalize quite a bit?
Your themes.
That's right. I got you, Nick. And so
I saw you hovering that over. I'm like, it's like the Ouija board over there.
Every now and then I ask a question that I'm leading somewhere and I'm like, I don't know if we know where we're going. So let's go ahead and take a look, check this out. And how can you subscribe to this channel? Thanks for wanting to subscribe. You can check out down below. There is a great list of past episodes. And you also can tune in every day, behance.net/live. Pretty much the entire day, Adobe Live has content here ready for you to learn and have some cool stuff. So we can click on those themes, and I'm more of a everything black kind of guy. So I can look through these themes and
what
see
are we going to pick?
Which one of these fits me.
Ooh, Lucas.
I like Ludwig. Lucas, but also Ludwig. I like this feels gray. You're a little bit black.
You're a little bit Ludwig.
I am a little bit Ludwig. So we can just click here and click on continue editing. And from here, it's converted literally my entire site now over into this Adobe portfolio. So we can again click through into these case studies. It's brought all of the case study content in here, but reformatted it with new type, new backgrounds, all of those images looking great. And I also can customize my site with pages. I can come over here, and if there's certain projects that I want to hide and not display, I can turn those on and off. I also can add a contact page if I want to add another page. I can come in here. I can integrate with Lightroom. I can add links that I want to send people out to. I can add collections of sub pages. So let's say I want to do a collection, and let's have this be in-house work.
Perfect.
We can create this collection, and super quickly and super easily, I can just check and say what I want to be on this page. So we can add things in. Let's put this, and let's just do in-house. And now I have a nice little button that has things in there. I can edit, put the content that I want on this page. Super easy to push all these things and basically build your website in Adobe Portfolio. So I'm going to update my live site. And Josh, can you say hi? Yes, I can. Here we go.
I wanted to get to April. She had a really quick question about wondering how you can present yourself when you are managing all of the work as a creative manager, but acting like the creative director or art director and not doing the actual design work. Well, then I think you just said it, April. You create yourself. You're the creative director at that point, even if it's not your title. And that's how you present yourself. You could show your team's work and say, this is what you oversaw or what you art directed. That's a fantastic thing you can do as well.
Absolutely.
And just show credit to everybody else.
Yep, absolutely. Credit people as credit is due, but make sure that you don't sell yourself short.
Exactly.
Adobe Portfolio, it's pulled everything in from what was on my Behance, but now it looks like my site, it functions as my site, and it's converted it right over. So if you haven't started, start out by just using Behance. Build some case studies on Behance. You can come up here, you can click on create a project, and you can start building out that project.
Correct.
And from there, literally you hop over and very easily have created an Adobe portfolio that you can share the link directly to, which is a great resource.
Catherine was asking, I think you might be thinking of it the other way. She was saying if she has Adobe portfolio, but nothing on Behance, can we go to portfolio and then Behance? I think it's the other way around, right? Because Behance is where you populate and you build everything and you make these as projects. Portfolio takes Behance and just gives it the skin that Andrew just showed you. So right? Like you start there. I don't think there's much you can start on without projects that are actually in Behance.
Yes,
Correct?
and somebody just asked, what are the advantages of having an Adobe portfolio over a Behance portfolio? Nick, why would I want to convert to have an Adobe portfolio
It's
as
just the
opposed to just having it on
professionalism.
Behance?
It's the professionalism. It really is. And you can link to your domain if you own a particular domain with your name or something like that. Then you can kind of link it to that. This is great to have because to me, I still send people to my Behance page for particular projects, but it's not technically my website. My website is something totally different because of the clientele that are on there. So definitely make that switch because it is made there to be more presentable. That's why
Yes,
Adobe did it.
absolutely. And
Mm-hmm.
here's my favorite thing about this chat.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, guys. I love spicy chat. Like this is the spiciest chat. And if you have ever joined us on Adobe Office Hours, you know that this is the vibe of this show. This is how we have fun. This is how we goof around. We learn a lot on this show, but we also have a great time and we want to carry that over into our community. So Nick, if people are looking to get involved, how can they get involved in our community?
Well, first, find us on Behance Live every Friday. Second is our Discord channel. That's the best way to do it as well. You have all of our homework, all of our show notes, any freebies we're going to do, schedule changes when that happens.
Yes.
Or, my gosh, find us on Instagram. Both of us are quite, checking that out and making tons of new friends in that area as well. So do that as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
And thanks so much for all the nanners, y'all. If you have more questions, go ahead and drop those in. I started to land the plane early, so we have about 10 minutes left, but we are going to go back to portfolios. I want to look at a couple more that we kind of glossed over there and spend some time there, but you can catch us tomorrow, 1 p.m. Pacific time. Guess what? This is like a gamer stream. This is like a gamer stream. Welcome to Adobe Office Hours. This is 100% the most gamer stream that we get. So you can check us out tomorrow, 1 p.m. We'll be answering all of your questions and we'll also be talking about the terrors of the time you're wasting. We're getting into spooky season. So join us for that right here at 1 p.m. on live. And then also you can join our Discord server. Gosh, this is the most gamer stream thing that I could say right now. Join our Discord server at bit.ly/fallsemesteral. You can click over here into the fall semester tab. And if you scroll up, there are some goodies in there for you from yours truly, as well as some of our presentations from the past. Yes. And Mario, great question. Where can you find us on Instagram? Nick, where can people find you on Instagram?
You can find me at Longo Designs. Hit me up. Right. This is a great spot to hit us up. We're there all the time.
Yes. You can follow me at hoch.co, HOCHDOTCO. No punctuation, and it's very German. All right, let's hop back in and talk about one of the portfolios that we didn't look at, and that is Kazi Beer. This was a great case study that you had sent over from, I believe, one of your students at some point. Let's take a look and talk a little bit about why we think this is a good case study and maybe ways that people could incorporate this into their workflow.
I love it. Yeah. So I think this has got such a good tone and vibe throughout the whole thing. It just from beginning to end has that setting. It tells us a little bit about what it is. We get an overview, an intro to everything. It's really fantastic. One of the things I really stress is this idea to come up with the brand archetype for your product. And in this one, he's chosen the Explorer. It gives you a little bit of their values, who they are. We get into brand. Illustration style, even the idea here, like what are we doing? Are we taking real life photos and changing it to a particular style? We got our fun colors, always with some names, some great stuff to kind of help identify those colors and tie it back into the brand. Typography, final logo, and let's show them that packaging because let's just face it. It's all about, of course,
Nick wants to see the packaging.
All about the beer can.
There it is.
There you go. Way to go, Narek.
That's fantastic. Yes.
Yeah.
And so if you like to, you can also submit your portfolios. I believe that there is a link that you can still submit portfolios, or if you want to, in our Discord, there is a section for portfolio reviews if you want to drop them in there. Every now and then, Nick and I will take a show and we will do an entire show of portfolio reviews. So that may happen coming up where we can circle back on some of those. And I saw a great question. I'm unavailable on Fridays. Can I watch the recaps? Yes, they are on YouTube and they're also in a playlist down below us.
Totally.
And here's a great question from our friend, Anastasia. How would you recommend building case studies as a student that does not have clients, Nick?
Ooh, okay. I think what I would do is try to spin them into real world environments, real world applications. I think creative is creative. I think if I saw something that really just blew my mind and it would look great, age and experience sometimes wouldn't really matter to me. Hopefully someone sees that and would appreciate that in you. But how you take it now, I would also say the best thing to do too is go to some neighborhood companies and merchants in your area and see if they can use your help, kind of work out a deal, and maybe you can help them out with some design and branding. So it is applicable and it is real, but it's neighborhood businesses. That might be a great way to do it.
Yep. And somebody had a question. If you're a jack of all trades, is it okay to have separate, let's read this. Should you have separate portfolios for different areas such as fine art, graphic design, animation? I'm a jack of many trades and don't mesh well together.
Ooh.
Nick, any takes on that? I have some hot takes, so I'll let you go first.
If it's so drastically different and there's just maybe two of them, I think you do the Andrew route and you almost do like your two separate routes. If there's 5 to 6 different things that you do, maybe what I would suggest is finding a way to make them live together. I don't think you want to manage, 5 or 6 entities out there of websites.
Yep. And this is the example, and this is my hot take on it. Completely separate if you can.
Yeah.
And this is literally my website. So my website's literally a landing page to send people over here, which is my branding deck. And this just shows, hey, here's my branding work. I can present it. I can customize it if I want to whatever client. But then if I want them to see my other work that I don't want my professional people to see, I send them to this website, which is pure insanity, just thrown all over the place. No case studies, because I want to just show off my aesthetic and kind of my editorial work. So if you can segment, and it needs to get segmented, right? You'd never see my branding work next to this work. Segment 100%, segment it as far away from each other as you possibly can.
Totally. I get it. That's a great question though. And I think more and more people are finding themselves in that thing because they have to stretch their capabilities to land that next job. We see what they're asking for. It's unreal in some of these job applications.
Yes.
Crazy, right?
Yes. So let's go and look at some more stuff from our friend Justin Roy. Let's give him some feedback on the Illustrator beta, I believe, which, if you guys don't know, Illustrator is on iPad and it's amazing. Have you got to play with it at all, Nick?
Yes, I have. Like as soon as Max is done, I've been on it and just enjoying it and trying to figure it out. Yeah.
Yes. So for this, I love that you have designated what the goal is, what you're trying to do, kind of documenting your process. And what I think Behance is really great for, and this is probably a hot take, but I love Behance for showing process and for even stuff like this that's blogging, right? That we're going to look at some of his work here. There's a little time lapse. I think Behance is so good for showing in process, for getting feedback, for getting reactions from the creative community.
Yeah.
There have been other websites that have done this in the past, not so focused on that anymore. And I think that Behance is really a great place for that. It's not just for case studies and final products. It's really a place for feedback, for community, for posting your work and working along with the process and helping us to understand who you are creatively.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yep. If you haven't invested in like making a Behance profile and starting to post here, and you are on other sites, like this is the place to be with live streaming, right? That we can all live stream to our profiles. We can connect in new ways. And I'm not just saying this because like I'm on an Adobe stream. I really do think that Behance is about to get lit. And it's going to be really, really awesome with some of the features that we've launched at Max, as well as the creative community that's building. And I think the focus of Behance into community and fostering creative community is better than most of the other sites that are doing that in other places.
A few questions on those differences between like Illustrator on the iPad and Fresco. Fresco is definitely your painting app. It does do both vector and raster, right? You can do both of those on there. But the idea is like Illustrator is made more for the vector and for something that you can actually share now with your computer, and Illustrator on there. It's kind of a nice little hybrid, you know?
Yes. And yes, this is the place to be, Behance. Adobe, get that campaign rocking.
Yeah.
So let's take a look. Actually, let's just answer questions because they keep coming in. Do you have any advice for staying creative outside of work when you work in a corporate in-house job? Ooh, how do you stay? Yeah, how do you stay inspired outside of work?
I think that's more like, how do you continue it on after your long day? You get home or you've ended your job. How do you still creative on your own? I think someone nailed it yesterday. I think it was Lauren Hom. She was saying in her talk, you catch it if you get a chance. It should come natural to you. If there's something you love to do creatively, you're gonna look forward to doing it. You're not gonna try to squeeze it into your schedule. So look for whatever that is and let that be your personal creativity outbreak for sure.
Yep. And producer, we're just going to be talking for probably the rest of the show. She can just cut to our faces.
Yeah.
You don't have my screen up there if you want. And yes, I think that it's so important to stay inspired, especially when your in-house job is like literally in-house. Like, I know it looks like I'm in a fancy apartment, but I'm actually sitting in my bedroom, just like surrounded by like work and clothes and stuff. And when you are working and doing the same thing, be inspired by things that are outside of your realm, right? So I'm inspired by things like watching Broadway shows. I love watching makeup tutorials on YouTube. I've gotten into for some reason is find things that are fringe in creativity, right? Go and watch a TED talk about botany and get inspired by something that's outside of your realm, something that's new, that's interesting, that is not just design.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a great idea. I think cooking is a big one that everyone's been getting into lately. It could be anything. I think if it's just making your mind think without rules, that helps that side of the brain that I think is just so rebellious. But then you can go back to work and feel refreshed and do the things you need to do. But that balance is something everyone's trying to figure out. That's why Max is here, to be honest with you. Honestly.
Yes. So
here,
yes, here's something that I love to do. For those of you getting inspired on outside things, go to Michael's and find 5 things and then figure out a way to make a piece out of them.
Yeah,
that's
cool
just
idea.
Literally walk through the aisles and be like, cool, here's 5 things that I think are interesting. Bring them home, scan them, photograph them, grab them with Adobe Capture, use Spark, use whatever you have to, and create something with those 5 objects and be like, oh, I've gotten out of my zone of just sitting here on the computer and I'm able to like manipulate these manually and do all kinds of things.
Can we make that like a design challenge where everyone who does it post it with a hashtag and do something kind of crazy? Yes. Call it the Michael's 5.
I love that. Yes. Yes. Oh, into wood branding. Yes. Yeah. I was into wood branding for a little while. I also got into linoleum block cutting. If you're not familiar with that. And here's the thing. If you wanted, I actually thought about this yesterday. If you want to get into like linoleum block cutting, I cut my finger like almost in half and it was not fun. And so you can use Illustrator on iPad. I've been playing around with it. Make a black artboard, take the eraser tool and use that as if you're cutting it away and you can create amazing pieces.
The Michael's challenge. I love this. Let's do it, please.
Yes. So fun. And people are asking how you can get involved with the class. Well, we are live every Friday. This Friday, we were live at 1 p.m. Usually we're live at 2:30. But you can come back tomorrow, 1 p.m. We are continuing on our semester. And if you want to, you can go to bit.ly/Adobe Office Hours, all lowercase. We have our syllabus there. We also have all of the presentations and some special surprises for you in those folders. There are some great resources for you to share with your friends. And as always, we will always be here. We're always on social media, always on Behance for you to reach out, send us DMs, tag us and stuff. We love to see that. And let's see, are there any more questions that are coming?
The linoleum block. I think every single person said they did it in high school.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Time to redo it again now, right?
Yes. How did this hour go so fast? That's how this show works. This show is actually a vehicle for time travel.
Those are our closing words at the end of every time.
It's true. It's very true.
Every single time.
Yes. Get those questions coming in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to 1, answer those as much as we can. And 2, we are going to bookmark them in our brains for tomorrow at 1 p.m. We are going to be showing you some things to speed up your workflow, but most of the time we are going to straight up be answering your questions because you guys have had so many questions this week.
Oh my God.
And we've loved answering them. 1 p.m. What time is it? Oh, sorry. Pacific time. Pacific time. I don't know if it's Pacific Standard or Pacific Daylight because we're crazy out here on the West Coast.
Pacific Daylight. That I've been seeing that being used a lot lately, so that's great.
Yes. So yes, let's do one more question. And I think a lot of people asking for links and stuff. Nick, let's do this.
Yeah.
This is the end of Max. This is the end of our sessions for portfolio stuff at Max. Do I like bananas? Yes. This is our end. What is the takeaway? We have 1 minute to give the most inspiring speech that each of us can in 1 minute.
Oh my God.
30 seconds.
Be yourself. I think you can sum it up in that. And everything you do, how you go about things, how you land jobs, how you create on your own, how you spend your time, just be yourself. I think we saw so many great examples yesterday. What do you think?
Yes, this is the end of Max Chat, so confetti in chat. My thing is you have to figure out what you want to say and how you want to say it. So figure out those two things and you will be clear to be the creative that you've always wanted to be. So drop some confetti in chat. Thank you, Adobe Live team. This is the end of Max Chats. We'll see you tomorrow on Adobe Office Hours.
Bye, guys.